Hey, this is G. Michael, and you're listening to the Astrological Metaphysical Research Center podcast. Today I want to address the whether astrology is real question. I have studied astrology and measured the movements of the planets in relation to what actually happens in my life and others for over 45 years. I have made numerous predictions with remarkable, consistent accuracy, as long as the predictions are tailored to the person and applied in a way that is realistic. A prediction has to be understood according to how it actually manifests in a person's life. I'll get back to that with specific examples in a minute, but first, let me explain with some analogies what astrology can realistically do and how it can be applied. Astrology is an empirically based system of observations of past events that occur in conjunction with planetary movements. One way to explain would be in comparison to weather predictions. A weatherman can, with reasonable confidence, tell you years in advance that in July and August, the temperature in South Florida will be in the 90-degree range during the day and the 80-degree range at night. That is because they have seen it happen for years. There are, of course, many variables, but as a general overview, they will be right. To drill down further, we can use the example of a doctor prescribing a medication that works wonders for one and may not work for another, and still, in some instances, it can cause an allergic reaction. The medicine has to be prescribed in a manner that works for each person. If the medicine does not work for some, that does not mean that medicine doesn't work. That is where many go astray. A chart has to be personalized. Let me refine my point even further. Every day, people's lives are judged by their credit score, an accumulation of past events that show how they have paid. It does not show the circumstances that contributed to their history, nor does it show a person's ability to change. To make a prediction based on their credit as to how they will do in the future is not an exact science. It is based on patterns. Now, if you talk to them, see how much money they are making now, what job they were in, if you ask them if their home life is stable and whether they are healthy, then a lender could gauge much better. Astrology as well needs context. It cannot be applied across the board as an overarching predictive tool that fits each person the same way. A transit will affect each person according to who they are, where they are in life, and what they are doing at the moment. That is no easy task. Now to the examples I mentioned. I have seen a Mercury transit that normally passes in a day and generally goes unnoticed, bring benefits to a person every year, twice a year, for 20 years. That belies the customary predictive strength normally associated with a Mercury transit. That is the reason that attempts to determine the validity of astrology by aspect or transit alone can fail. Each person really is attuned to their own distinct life. On the other hand, there are transits sufficiently strong that a general prediction within context could be accurate. It would be a logical and often correct prediction to say without knowing a person that a Saturn transit that makes a station or stops 90 degrees from where a person's Mars was at birth and lasts for about a month will bring frustration and anger. Like driving with the brakes on, it can bring a burning anger that is enormously frustrating and hard to let out. As examples, a friend asked me what the next few months were going to be like for him. I saw Mars was moving to a 90-degree angle or 90 degrees away from his Saturn and was staying there for around a month. I told him there probably would be frustrating anger starting 3 months down the road. For 3 months, he kept asking what it could be. I had no idea. When that time arrived, he found out that his girlfriend had a brief interlude with someone else. This caused a burning anger that fit the transit. Another person with the same transit was sued by a close associate who was sending out subpoenas to all his friends to depose them. This caused great anger. The person railed at his opponent for involving his friends, but there was no way to stop it. Each had a frustrating anger they could not directly address, but in a completely different way. On another level, a different person could harness this energy to fight hard and relentlessly, turning the frustration into a burning discipline to achieve. Each person has their own life, and it is that life that will be brought out, not a one-size-fits-all. In a nutshell, astrology is the art of observing what happened in the past, documenting the results, and using them to predict the future. The step that is often overlooked and or too difficult for most is how to observe the person's life and the way different transits bring events into their specific life. Understanding the person is crucial. If someone practicing can pick out parts of the person's life that they occurred in their past and find out what happened, they can find or understand better which medicine, so to say, works, or how that individual personally responds to the stimuli of a transit. Finding out which points in their chart are sensitive or most prone to cause an event is crucial. There is a saying in legal cases that it is important to know the law, but it is more important to know the judge. The laws or transits are important, but it is valuable, even more valuable, to understand how the person reacts to them. The history of these observations in general and reactions specifically will show a pattern of observable effects that one can work with to understand what is coming. The ability to be precise is limited by the tremendous amount of variables and the individuality of each person. Still, a nuanced practitioner with real knowledge of astrology who has observed the events in their own and other people's lives over a period of years can find phase of life transits. These usually can be predicted in some manner without knowing the person at all. There are some transits that are sufficiently strong that last more than a year that can tear down a current life pattern and make people rebuild, or at least force them to confront themselves. Even so, every prediction is still the art of synthesis of many variables. As people learn and evolve, they can live at a higher level, or in some cases, they may have given up. This needs to be known to understand how a transit will impact a person and what it will bring out. Finding a person to accurately parse all the information and integrate it into the person's life takes insight and experience. It takes some depth and a lot of experience to understand and comprehend adequately the sheer expanse of merging different transits into the complex psyche and actual living experience of each individual. Anyone can pick up some books and claim to be an astrologer, just as anyone can buy a guitar and claim to be a musician. On the other hand, I believe that there is a strong tendency for some very well-schooled, experienced astrologers to overthink or use an array of complex methods available to overanalyze a chart. Simpler is better whenever possible. The lasting impression that astrology has had on me after almost a half-century of research is a reverence for the compelling, unavoidable reality that there is meaning to the ups and downs of life, or at least there is a path of sorts that is followed. In a real sense, there is a proverbial time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow. That is what a chart reader can impart to someone accurately, the phase of life they were in. The seasoned chart reader can tell those phases and how long they will last. They can show by prediction that life is more than just empty events, that even hard times can be predicted. They are not for nothing. So while astrology may not be able to say with precision what will happen, they can usually say what stage of life you are in, how long it will last, and can say with confidence, for whatever reason, it is meant to happen. Our fate lies in our nature, efforts, decisions, relationships, and how well we accept and understand who we are. Sometimes, though, as Carl Jung said, free will consists in making what fate intends to do with us seem like it is our own idea. A wise astrologer can at times glimpse into a life by observing the stars. I hope that cleared some things up for you. I will be available for questions and consultations starting in September 2020 at amresearchcenter.com. I'm G. Michael with the Astrological Metaphysical Research Center. I'm hoping you have a wonderful day.